Masechta Bava basra daf kuf mem zayin amar al. We're starting from kuf mem vavam beis, 3 lines from the bottom. Yesterday we were talking about that we shots up what the Shchibra meant when he wrote, when he said to give over his nechasim. We're going to talk about that, about umdana. Umdana means that we shots up what he was thinking.
So who shots up? The
Bezna shots up. Man Tana Laha. Who's the Tana that learned this Braisa? The Tana Rabbanim learned. There was a person who was ill, and he's bedridden. And the people surrounding him said to him, Nechasecha lemi. Your nechasim, whom are you giving it to? And he said to the people around him, oh, Doima, I had thought originally that I have a son. Now that I realize I don't have the son, my nechasim are going to somebody else. The same thing, a second similar case. There was a person who was ill, bedridden, and they said, the people surrounding him said to him, Nechasav, lemi, your nechasim, to whom are you giving it to? He answered back to the surrounding people, I thought that my wife is pregnant. But now that it became notified, I became notified that my wife is not pregnant. So my nechasim are going to that person. Then he became aware that he has a son. Or the same thing, so his wife was pregnant. His matana is not a matana. Why? Because you could see from the way he spoke, the only reason why he gave it to somebody else, because he thought he doesn't have a son, or he thought his wife wasn't pregnant. But at the end, when they told him, you have a son, your wife is pregnant, so then he could retract from the whole matana. So Lema, let us say that this B'raisis Kevshim ben Menashe follows the opinion of Kevshim ben Menashe that we do say umdana. Umdana means that we look what was his mindset and the reason why he said to give it to somebody else. And from here you can say we shot up and we see that the whole reason was because he thought he doesn't have a son, or in the second case he thought his wife is not pregnant. He's nechasim. He's from Megan.
So what is it?
What? They said to him, "You here's nechasim." That this one will say. Same thing. He's nechasim. I never looked at that. I hear you. I see the diktuk. Nechasecha, and here he said nechasam. I don't know. That's yours of Shilas. It's like Rabbi Yirmiyah. We got to get into it. V'lo Rabbanan. It's not the Rabbanan. Okay. Says Gemara, you could even say it goes according to the opinion of the Rabbanan who say that we don't look at the shatzon, what the guy was thinking, what was his mindset. But Doima Shiny, here it's like he said it openly. He says, I thought I have a son, but now I see I don't have a son. That's why he said nechasa. But he's saying it. It's not a umdana. Sagt das befeirish. Okay. But the mother, the one who asked the shaila, who's it going to? It's so simple. I mean, it goes according to everybody. He said it openly. Daima. So as the Gemara Malda I would have thought Tzadei who the Kamadabe. Who the Kamatka. He's not talking, it's saying a reason why he's giving it Leploini. He's just, when it's time, he felt ill and now he knows he has to give his nechasim away, he's reminded of his son that died or his wife lost a child. So he's saying, he's not saying it as a reason why he's giving it Leploini. He's just, it's now, he's passing away and he sees he has no children and that's what bothered him. So that's why, we didn't say why he's giving it Leploini. He didn't say it as a reason, it's just to remind him of Tsar.
And the thing is, the son that died, the son died, and the wife.
No, at the end he did have a son. Kamash Malan. Yeah, he didn't know. It's Yeduch that his son passed away. Kamash Malan comes in and teaches us. No, we're not going to say he said it out of Tsar. We are going to connect it with why he said that it should go Leploini. Rabbi Zayda said the name of Rav.
So it's a good method.
No, it's not going to be a matana at the end. we're going to say he gave it only because he thought his son is dead.
Does he get it or doesn't get it?
And his son was alive. So that guy doesn't get it. We take it back. Rabbi Zayn said in the name of Rabbi Nayan, from where do we know that a matna shchimina, where you don't have to make a kinyan? It's just words. How do we know that it's a kinyan min ha'teira? Shenama, like it says, b'negei to nachlis yerushas, it says ish kiyamas uvein ein loy. A man who will pass away. I'm saying the beginning of the pasuk first. A man who will pass away and he doesn't have a son. Here comes the words of the Gemara: v'havartem es nachalasi levita. Then, if he doesn't have a son, you should transfer the Yerusha to his daughter. Now, this v'havartem says that Hashbam is extra because the pasuk could have written ve'im ein loy bas. I'm sorry, ve'im ein loy ben nachalasi lebas. You don't have to say v'havartem. Okay, so the Gemara. So this that it said v'havartem. What are you adding this? Because yes, you have another type of matana that is done without a kinyan, and which one that's similar to this case of a shchimera? Which one is it? Where the father didn't have a son that you transfer it automatically to the daughter without a kinyan? Which one is it? Ve'zehi matna shchimera. If he gave it as a matana, not a yezirosha. Another case. Rav Nachman says I have a different marker. Rav Nachman b'shem Rabbi Baravu, in the name of Rabbi Baravu, mehach from here. It says unesatem es nachalosei le'ochiv. It says ve'imein loibas. If he doesn't have even a daughter now, so then it says you should give the Yerusha to the brothers of the Shchimera. Okay, nesatem is extra because here also it should have said ve'imein loibas nachalosei le'ochiv. What's unesatem? So the Gemara is telling us, yes, there is another giving of when the Shidmarach said to give it to his brother, right? Without a kinyan, we said there's a similar one. Not mitzad Yerusha. Which one is it? Matna Shidmarach. That a Shidmarach gives out matana. Okay, now the Gemara is going to ask, why does each one do a different pasuk? Rav Nachman, my time of Why did Rav Nachman Dafki learn it out from the extra word unesatem? What was wrong with Rav Zayda's v'havartem? He needed the v'havartem for a different din. The time that we learned in Abraisa. Normally, when we talk about Yerusha, it always says unesatem es nachalosei. You find it like 3-4 times. So he says, he's come to tell you, I would have thought a daughter, she inherited from her father, right? Let's say Yerusha. She came into the marriage with Nechasim from her father, who was from Shevet Reuven, and she's marrying Chaim Yankel from Shevet Shimon. Now she passes away. Where does the nechasim go? To the husband. So it was transferred from Shevet Reuven to Shimon. So I would have thought maybe not. So he tells you, Shemava, he's come to tell you, there's a time that it does. You're allowed to the nechasim of one shevet could be transferred to another shevet. Here, when the bas inherited from her father, who was from Shevet Reuben, and she got married to Chaim Yaakov from Shevet Shimon, and then she died. So the husband, Yehoyulu Beno Baila Yeshna, so that's it. It could be transferred to another Shevet. Rab Zayda, my time Yama Minasatem. So it says Gemara, Rab Zayda, why didn't you learn out from the extra word in the Satem? You know, you could use it for this drasha. So what do you need? So he says, that's not the word in the Satem is not extra. That's the way you speak. You have to specify. So the Rashbam says, V'havartem is also, you have to specify. You have to say extra word. So he says, V'havartem is a drasha because V'havartem is an unusual lashon. V'havartem is not the lashon that you use. It's in the Satem. Okay. Rabbi Menashe Bar Yim Yama. Rabbi Menashe Bar Yim says, Me'acha from here. It was those days that Chizkiah was about to die. He was sick, ill. So ill that he was going to die. He says, go and command your household that you're dying and you're not going to live. So here, you know the story with Chizkiah. Chizkiah, we had in Gemara Brachas, we learned that Chizkiah, because he didn't want to get married, because he foresaw in the Nevuah that he was going to have a son, Menashe, a Rasha. He didn't want. But he was wrong for it, because others would come out who were not Rishoyim, but he didn't want. So he saw that now they're going to kill him because of this Aveda. So Yeshaya ben Amoz came. He says, "Give me your daughter. I want to marry her. Maybe we can stop this." Yeshaya ben Amoz says, "Too late." So Chizki is up. It's never too late. Afilu cherev al tzavara, he was saying. Even when the sword is on your neck, you could always get out of it. And then when she married, and I think he lived another 17 years or something like that. Don't quote me on the years, but you can look in Gemara Brachas. It's around Daf Yud. Anyway, he says Gemara. So over here was with Tzava Be'alma. You see, he told him just command. No kinyanim. So you see that a tzava could be just with the words. Rabbi Bar Yecheskel says, no, I have a different place for Nevi'im. From where? From here, Achitefel saw that his advice wasn't being accepted. What happened? Avshalom, the son of David HaMelech, he rebelled against David. So Achitefel sided with him. Achitefel was a big lamdan, a genius. And he told him, with Avshalom. Avshalom won Nitzachim, and he told him, go after your father now. He's tired from running. Now is the time.
You could kill him.
And he said, no. Yeah, you could kill him. And he said, no. Achitefel saw, okay. He pushed off my advice. I know this is my downfall. I'm not going to make it.
Because David gets had somebody else also that gave advice. And they listened to the other person. They said he's like a bear. He's like fight back. Wait till you gather more.
Achitefel said now's the time to go after him.
It
was he says he was still tired from running. So he told Yotz Achitefel, go right away, chase him and get him. And yeah, he was on the side of Avshalom. But once, so he says, the pasuk misaper kasher Avshalom doches hatzasei. When Avshalom pushed away the advice, Haven Achitefel shaseif hamarat lechishalom. He saw that his rebellion is coming to an end. That's it. He didn't listen to him. So vayach lishas chamay. He got, how do you say? He prepared his chamay. Vayok mayel halbeisay al here. He got up and he went to his house, to his city. And he commanded his house, you get this, you get that. He divided everything. And he killed himself. Yeah, it's chaling yahargit. He knew he's not going to make it. So you see, how did Achitefel divide his nechasa? But tzava, no kinyanim here.
Maybe all these are special circumstances. How do you know the stamazai? The same thing applies to Shchit.
This is somebody that's one of the chayim. No, that's the Rosh Hashanah's sakana kol hachayim. It's a Rosh Hashanah's. The Fidik says Namaim. It goes on all those that have to make it the bracha of Agoymo. If you make it through, if not, it's Eimen L'chaim, Eimen L'meis. Three things Achitefel told Esbanov, his children before dying. Altiv machlekes. Please do not join machlekes. He joined with Avshalom. This is not good. Don't rebel against the kingdom of David. That especially he saw what's going on here. If you see it's a clear day that it's going to be a beautiful production of wheat. Start seeding your fields. You're going to make a lot of money.
You still can't do in the door.
It doesn't say that. He knew a lot. Listen, he was very learned. I'm sure he either from Kabbalah, for whatever he understood that way.
This has to do with a vision that he saw.
It could be vision, or he was very into. He doesn't say Achitefel was a Navi, but he knew Kabbalah. He knew all, and he would derive all these things from. Mazuta says, Barur, Bolol. It doesn't mean. I'm sorry. Don't say Barur, but it means Bolol. Bolol means that it was cloudy, and then it got clear. That's what he says. But Bololitma. Learn that it was cloudy. I'm sorry. He says not clear, but cloudy. Amrin Adar. And that's with clouds. That's the siman that's going to be a successful year. Amrin Adar. the Chachmei of Nado, say Mishmei Rabbi Yaakov, the name of Rabbi Yaakov, Loi Barur, Barur Mamish, don't say it's really a clear day, but Loi Bolo Mamish, and doesn't mean a real cloudy day. Ela Afilo Bolo, even if it's cloudy, but Veruach, it's a famous Min HaShaftei. Then you have a north wind that comes and blows the clouds and spreads them out. Zehu Barur, that's the case of Barur that we're talking about, which the year will be successful. It starts off cloudy. A north wind comes and spreads the clouds and becomes clear. Oh, that's the success.
Anytime you want to do a business deal, go
look on the skies.
Look on the clouds.
Yeah. No, here it talks about a Yom Tov of Shavuos. He says we have different semanim, not Shavuos. Our semanim is at the end of Sukkot, on the end of Sukkot. How? He says, everybody looks at the fire that came out of Maracha, so which way it tilted? We know it never moved. It says it didn't spread like, you see smoke, it goes all over. It spread like a date tree, either to the right, to the left, to the front, to the back, but very little. So everybody looked very closely at the smoke coming out of the Maracha. Not to klap it if it went towards the north, that means it was a south wind that blew it. Aniyim smeichen. The aniyim are going to be happy. Ubalabatim, and the wealthy people at Seven are going to be sad. Why? Mipnei, because the south wind is shagish ma'ashana maruba. There's going to be tons of rain, and when you have tons of rain, upedas makivin, then you have the fruits don't last long. They rot. So who gets it for cheap? They have to sell it out right away. They buy it for $2 for $1, or maybe $3 for $1. I don't know, the 99 cents store. But not a klapi dorim. But what if it's going to the south and it's the north wind that's blowing it? So Anima said, Malabatim the Yashirim smechma happy mipnei, because now the north wind is strong. Shagish ma'ashama milotin. Then the rain is not much, so you don't have so much dampness in the warehousing, and the paytas mishtamrim, and the paytas could be preserved for a longer time, and now you can sell it for a lot of money. So they see all the dollar signs over there, the wealthy people. Not the klapi pizah. Now, what's if it's the ocean is going towards east because the west wind is blowing? Hakel smeichen. Everybody's happy because you're going to have a lot of fruits. And then you're going to be able to sell a lot. It's not a problem. Klapi might.
The price won't be high either.
And the price won't be high either. This is perfect. It's going to be Trump's times.
How are they even going to be happy? Be overloaded.
Overloaded, but he said you're going to be able to export. There's going to be enough. Yeah.
It's not going to rot.
It's not going to rot, right?
So
People,
why are they happy?
because they can buy it for cheap. It's going to be a lot.
Because of what?
No demand. Demand brings up the price. You're the businessman. Klapi might have what?
Buy cheap and sell cheap.
Right. But they can export. They're going to have a lot. There's a lot of fruits. Klapi might have. What's if it's might have? It's going towards the west. That means the mizrach is the one that's the mizrach wind that's blowing it. Everybody's going to be sad because the mizrach wind, when that blows, there's very little rain, almost nothing. Here he says that the brings hunger, and the paytas don't grow, and the fruits are sold for so much money. There are very few fruits. It's terrible. Terrible for everybody. Thank you, Mother. I'll ask you a question, Stina. You just said the Mizrachis is devastating. It's no good. Might have?
No, yeah.
Huh?
Shachis is good.
No, if the wind comes from Mizrach.
Cool.
What?
Cool smeichen.
No, Klapi might have kulam smeichen. I mean, Klapi Mizrach is kulam smeichen because it came from Ma'ariv. I'm saying Klapi Ma'ariv, everybody's sad. Hakalat Sedim. But where's it? Which wind is blowing towards Ma'ariv? The Mizrach. So you're saying the Mizrach is the one that makes everybody sad. So here he says, Mepneisha Najwa Ruach Mizrachis. The Ruach Mizrachis is a terrible wind. Says the Gemara, I'll show you Fakir. Or maybe Mizrachis, La'ilam Yafa, it says in the Braisa. Mizrachis is always good. Ma'arav is La'ilam Kasha. The west wind, no good. It's always bad. Ruach Tzfeinis, Yaflachitim. This is not negated to the Kasha. But the Ruach Tzfeinis is good for wheat. Bishosh Havi Shlish at the time when it had grown a third. And it's not good for the dates at the time when it's blossoming. The south wind is bad for the wheat at the time that it grew a third. But it's good for the olives when it's blossoming. But we're back to the question about Mizrach HaMayit if we have a steer. We'll still tell you about the siman of the tzafin that we said tzafin is ruach tzvainis is good for the chitim. We have a siman from the Beis Hamikdash. How? It says that the shulchan is what tzafin. What was on the shulchan? The chitim, the oima, the bread that comes from chitim. So that's tzafin. Tzafin was good for the chitim that grew a third. Badarim, what was? I'm sorry, menaira. What was? And the menaira was badarim. What was in the menaira? How do you light the menaira with what? With shemen. Shemen zayis. Oh, zayis. That's not. So which one? Only which one is good for the shemen zayis? Where it stood in darim. Badarim. The menaira stood in badarim. High marbe the day. High marbe the day. The shulchan that stands in Safin creates the ruach tzfainis that makes the wheat grow and have a lot on the shulchan. And the menaira stands in darim that there should be the Safin wind that you should have a lot of. I'm sorry, the darim wind that you should have a lot of zaysim. Okay, let's go weiter. Okay, sagt die Gemara loy kasha. So we're back to the first kasha. We see Mizrach HaMayit of the opposite, loy kasha. Hold on. He says here in Bava, the grounds were very low. It was swampy. There was a lot of water anyway all around. So they didn't want rain. Rain was not a bracha for them. So that's why Menuach Mizachis was yafa for them. Because if they would have a little bit more rain, it would be flooding. Because Bava is very low. But there, where we said Menuach Mizachis is terrible, it's devastating. It's for Eretz Yisrael. The grounds are very high. He says that Mesiachsel b'nei Eretz Yisrael she'artzim gevaya utzicha mayim rabim. So mayim rabim only from Ruach Marabis. But Mashenkim Bavel dafen zeh wenig Wasser. So Ruach Mizachs is good for zeh. Tanya, we learned in the Staten Island is low. I don't know, but it's full of water. Okay, you're right. It floods there a lot. Now, Tanya, we had learned in the Braisa. I thought it's only a donut place. Okay, Tanya, we learned in the Braisa. Abba Shol says Yom Tov Shel Atzeres Barur Simin Yaf L'Chol Hashana Kula. We said on that in the Brais Abba Shol said that one of the simanim for a successful year for Chitim is on Shvuos, on the first day of Shvuos. You see, oh, it's a clear sky. That's a siman, a good siman for the whole year. Rav Zid says this is referring to the first day of Tishrei, meaning of Rosh Hashanah. If it's going to be warm, the whole year will be warm. If the first day of Rosh Hashanah is a little bit cold, the whole year will be cold.
So it's going to be a warm year this year?
Yeah, we're having so far so good. You know, so far so good. I told you about the so far so good. So I told you, no? A guy jumped off of Empire State Building, and the guy on the 50th floor opens the window. He sees he's coming down. He says, "How's it going?" He says, "So far so good." So he says, over here, so far so good. The weather's pretty good. In fact, the one might not give who cares if it's going to be cold, warm. Says the Gemara, we know when the Kohen Gadol came out of the Kodesh HaKadoshim, you remember the first tefillah? He says that this year, Shadar Geshumas will sein a Geshem, a Regen, a Gashmis, a good Tayar. So he says the same thing they would speak about if it was the first day they saw it was hot. It shouldn't be such a hot year. They were davening the Kohen Gadol. Like, I could tell you, it's too haste, it's too cold. You know, he took care of business. Here, I know, Sheim. I said, Rosh Hashanah, Hoy Shashana Tiyachama, Hoy Mispalo Shaloi Tiyachama, Yois Medai. The Kohen Gadol made sure we want to have a comfortable winter. And then Vima Hoya, Kara. Cold? Hoy Mispalo Shaloi Tiyachara. It shouldn't be so cold.
So far so good?
So far so good. Yeah. But Rabbi Amar, we're going back to about the Matnas Shchiv Merah. Rabbi Amar, Rabbi said in the name of Rav Nachman, Matnas Shchiv Merah. So we gave 4 psukim Minat Torah, but we said it's Minat Torah. Now we come up with a new shita that says B'chlal Nish Minat Torah, it's Midrabana. Midrabana Be'amahi. He says it's only a Takanas Chachamim that when the Shchiv Merah says words to give it over to somebody, that you don't need a kinyan, It's a takonis chachamim. Why did the chachamim make such a takoni? You shouldn't need a kinyan. Shema titarav dai telov, because we're afraid that it's going to take a toll. He's not going to be able to get what he wants, and he'll die prematurely. We don't want. We want him to live longer.
He should have back Mustafas.
Huh? Every minute
He
counts.
should
He still can fulfill the mission of
have
Hashem.
Mustafas.
Right. Because that will take a toll and will cause him to die prematurely.
Earlier.
Yeah. In fact, you want to be Yom Rav Nachman Hachi? Do Rav Nachman really say that's the reason it's with the Abanon? Well, Rav Nachman, Rav Nachman said, even though Shmuel said, somebody who says, look, I have a shtar chayiv, Chaim Yankel owes me $1,000. I'll sell it to you for 50 cents to the dollar. Here's the shtar chayiv. For 500, you can collect 1,000. And this chuligan went, he goes back to the guy who owes him money, says, Machel. Et hem vergebt, er staat sogar, Machel. Sagt er, Machel. Is Machel, it's vergeben. But he's going to have to pay him. What sagt er? Huh?
The guy has to pay.
The Meichel was at him verkauft, und Eisgenart, he has to pay him, because it's Gami. Vafilu Yerish Meichel, we know, Bechlal, let's say they got it as a matana, the Yerish could be Meichel, even the Yerish could be Meichel. Not the one, the Malva himself, even the Malva's son could be Meichel, the loan. Meida Shmuel, Shim the son, Shmuel is Meida. If the Malva gave the Shtachiv to another person, the Matna Shchimira, if he gave it as a Matna Shchimira, then he cannot be Meichel. Because now, what's the whole reason why he was able to be Meichel? Because it says, Eved Leiva Leishmalva. Right? So he's connected with the Malva.
Over here.
But over here, he's not he's over here. So Bechlal, the one who bought the star, only bought a star. He bought the words. He didn't buy that personal connection between the Leiva and Malva. But when a Shchimana gives it over as a matana, like he's living the world, he's not only giving him over the star, he's giving him over the whole connection that he has with the Leiva.
How's he do that? He's dying.
Huh?
He's dead.
He sold it.
No, that's when he sold it, he can't. But if he's dying and he gives over it as a matana to another person, he says, you're replacing me. So he gives him even the Avid Leiva Lishmalva. The Chayiv and the connection of Leiva to Malva. That's what the Rashbam says. You like, huh?
What's the reasoning?
He says because it's a
The
much
guys
stronger
understand,
shiva.
yeah.
They're selling a star chayiv as a mat, or giving as a matana. I'm saying stam, when you sell it, you're selling the star itself. You're not selling the shiva, the personal connection that Eved Leiva Lishmalva. But when a shchimera is giving, he says he's passing away and you're taking my place, so then he's selling him with the shiva. That's what he brings down. You want us to read it here? If the words make it stronger for you. By mechira, it cannot be given over. He can still be meichel, because that shibud still belongs.
Buy a star?
Well, you have to be careful. You have to write it in a way that he cannot do it. Anyway,
The guy could be more than the thing. You make a deal with the guy. He says, you owe me 100.
no, but he's gonna have to pay back.
I sold it, and now give me 500.
Yeah, it's called a knunya. Sure. So, no, but he's gonna have to pay back. It says, if you say it's midaraisa, this matna shchimera says, that's because of that. Taki can be meichel. If it's midaraisa that he takes over, mamish the place of the shchimera. If he can only say it's midaraisa, why shouldn't it be up to me? It's not a real. It's not mamish taking over. It's only the abanan. After the Gemara, you're right, it's not Minat Torah. Nevertheless, the Abanim does gemacht as stark because Hefke best. Hefke, but Abanim have a way to make something like the Torah. That said, you're the plane of Bayazet. That person should live in the house. That person should eat the fruits that will come out of this tree in the future. Kim Sunim und Kim Sunim damit. Ja, sie will schreiben sagen Kim Sunim.
It's not that.
No, so he says it is. He says even
He
the
says that
Ein Shalteira, but it's nevertheless, we're going to give it so strong. Yeah, and that's why he's saying, even though we don't have a pasuk, but the Rabbanan made it like the Torah. Yeah, you're right. So Rabbi said, he didn't give anything tangible. He says you can live there. You have the schus to live there. Or he says you can eat the future trees that will come out of it. The future fruits that will come out of the tree. That's a or the first case is not tangible. He said nothing. Until he says a little bit more. No, by Yizeh. Now he gave him something tangible. A house. Plenty for that person. The other boy, he added a tangible thing, and it's good.
But he has the house.
Yeah, now it's tangible. To know that goes out. Plenty give this date tree, not the fruits that will go out of it. It says give him the date tree, and then so then it's good. In fact, you might have Lemema. Oh, we have time. Lemema, in fact, you might because the suburb of Nachlin, Nilsa the Isa Bari Isa Meshchibara. Maybe we should say that the Nachlin holds only those that could be processed to a body, those type of kinyanim, a shchibmera I could do without a kinyan, but only if it's something that you find that kinyan helps by a body. The leisib body, leisib shchibmera. Something that we cannot find that a kinyan that helps by a body, so shchibmera's words won't help. He says, but how could you say that? Amar Nachman, Amar Rabba, Amar Nachman, Rabba said the name of Rav Nachman, shchibmera shama. To know how the asi liplini, he says. Reuben says to Shimon, Shimon, you owe me $100. Yeah, Reuben says to Shimon, you owe me $100. Shimon, that money that you owe me, give it to Levi. So what do we say? How the asi liplini. If a Shimon said that I want my halva that you owe me, give it to Shimon owes Reuben the money. He tells Shimon, give it to Levi. He has to give it to Levi. But by a buddy, it doesn't work that way. There has to be a kinyan. You can't just give it to.
You can't say to somebody here, you owe me money, give it to.
Only b'maimet shlashta. Only if they're all three standing together. But if not, you need a kinyan. So the Gemara says, since we find it, the Gemara is going to say it then, since we could find a case like by maimet shlashta, so you find it by a buddy also, so then it can be done by shchibna.
So Shchibna had a koyach over here.
Shchibna only has the same koyach as a buddy that could do with without a kinyan or with a kinyan.
But here's a kinyan.
Here there was no kinyan, so how could it be here without a kinyan? How can it help? Says the Gemara, Papa says there's another component by a shchibna. There's the union of Yerusha. So he's inheriting it. It's just like a milva peh. You don't need a kinyan. Just like a milva peh passes somebody who had a milva peh with the father. Right? And the father passes away. The Shchibna, the father passed away, gives it over to the kids. It's a milva peh. So it goes to the kids, even though there was no shtar to make a kinyan with, nothing it goes. But that's because there's another component to Yerusha. Hava, there is such hava that can be given over without a kinyan to a third party. You could be makna. Reuven could tell Shimon, the money you owe me, give it to Levi, and it'll be a kinyan without a star. How? I have $100 of mine in your hand. No point you give it to the third guy, and all three are standing with Maimet Shloshim together. Kana, it's a kinyan. So since we find by body, Maimet Shloshim makes that you don't need to make a kinyan in order to go to Levi. Why? That's the.
We have a crown. There's a crown.
It's one of. Is it one of the halachas? I think it's one of the halachas. One of them we said is some hakaysa called nechasav. If a man writes all his nechasim to his wife, so the should go to his wife as a matana. We said it doesn't go. We say she becomes a aputrapis.